Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Monster, a Japanese movie from 2023 that was directed by Hirokazu Koreeda, one of the most reliable and talented directors on the planet. A mother, played by Sakura Ando, demands answers from her son's teacher when her son begins acting strangely. So the film opens with a nighttime shot of fire trucks driving through the streets on their way to a building that is almost completely destroyed by a fire. At first, I thought this was a foreshadowing of what was to come for the finale, but as it turns out, it's an earlier event that occurs within the neighborhood of our two protagonists, the mother and her son. Now, the mother finds out about this fire, and it was apparently a hostess bar in this building, and her son's teacher, played by Eita, was seen hanging around there. Now, the movie sets up its premise fairly quickly, actually. It's communicated early on that the father of this household passed away, unfortunately, leaving the mother and her son. Now, the boy attends an elementary school, and within the opening, I would say 15 minutes, they show this kid acting very erratically. And he seems to have some pretty significant problems. And you're not sure if they're mental, physical, emotional, or some combination of the three. But if you were this kid's parent, you would be concerned based on his behaviors. And of course, some of the people at the school seem off, so to speak. This is conveyed through the many meetings between the mother and the administration at the school, where her frustrations with her child's behavior and what may be going on at the school are basically countered by this lack of concern by the teachers and administrators there. It's a very tense and enthralling series of events here in Act 1. And the handling of this issue is very Japanese in a way. So if this were a Korean movie, the teachers would just kind of blow off the problem, be outwardly disrespectful. But since this is a Japanese movie, the teachers and administration bow to the mother, and they apologize to her without actually addressing the problems at hand. So it's always interesting, seeing the cultural differences when watching movies from different countries. You know what I mean? Because if you watch a bunch of movies, as many of you have, this feels very Japanese. This doesn't feel Korean, and there's a reason for that, right? Now, the monster here, the film itself, is very impressive during the opening act. And then it somehow gets better. And the reason for this is the huge dose of nuance and multidimensionality that kicks in. And the plot thickens, and everything becomes even more fascinating after this opening act. And in an effort to be spoiler-free, I need to avoid specifics. This is a very spoiler-heavy film, so I have to speak in generalities here. But I will say that the storytelling structure changes in spots. This movie switches things up quite a lot, and it keeps you off balance as a viewer throughout the entire runtime. This is a very expertly crafted story with very strong writing. And you can tell that the writers, when they were, figuring this film out, they thought everything through and they nailed everything down. And this film continues to build on its themes throughout the entire runtime. And I will tell you from the opening act, you will not know what those themes are. And so this is a pretty cool flick. There are a lot of little details as well throughout, and those are referenced and re-explored at multiple points. In terms of acting, Sakura Ando's performance is fantastic. She won some big awards in Japan for this, and they are well-deserved. She also received some awards for her performance in Godzilla Minus One, which, in all honesty, I kind of disagree with that, because I feel like her performance in Godzilla Minus One is one of her weaker acting performances in years, in my opinion. But, I thought she hammed it up in that one a little bit too much. But she's awesome in Monster. Definitely an elite acting performance here. Now, with that said, Monster is more of an ensemble film than what you might expect. Even during the opening act, it shifts more as the film goes along. And thankfully, everyone brings their A game. Eita, very good. A subtly unhinged acting style, and I'll just leave it at that. And then we have the kids, the children, which is one of Koreeda's strengths as a director. Remember, this is the man who gave us Like Father, Like Son and Nobody Knows, which are two really good films. And, they focused on the kids a lot in those films as well. So needless to say, we're left with something that's emotionally resonant, and that also applies to this film. So I think I need to kind of stop there. Again, I don't want to give too much away. This is a very spoiler heavy type film. You can't talk about it too much. But what I can say is that Monster is an upper echelon film for Koreeda, and that's saying something. So if you have any interest in Japanese cinema at all, you absolutely have to watch this. It's currently available streaming on YouTube and Amazon. And as always, I'll see you next time.